What is up, guys? We are live here on the Bluebloods. A little bit different. Usually we got the split screens, but we're here live at Montana State in Bozeman. It is a nice 12 degrees outside. That's why you see
Yeah.
me in the hoodie and the beanie. But we got my guy, Montana State running back coach Jimmy Beal with us today. Coach, I appreciate you joining me, especially before such a big matchup.
No, it's my pleasure, man. I'd love to, help Montana State get out there and let people be exposed to it.
And so before we get into anything, let's talk about a little bit about your career. You've recruited some high level running backs, Pierre Strong, Isaiah Ifanse. The list goes on and on. What do you look for in a running back at the high school level? And like how was it? Is it scheme? Is it in terms of athleticism? Is it physical traits? What are you looking for in a running back?
It's really based off of where I'm at. On my program and our head coach's vision is where it starts. And I think that's where, for me, it's really taking his vision and going out into my areas and figuring out what was the best fit for our program. I think fit is also a big thing for our program is guys that's willing to venture out from the norm. And that's the personality trait. What I mean? You got to have that ability to see something different, do something new, take a chance. And I think those guys that really have that ability to personally like see that and talk about that, those are the ones that have a lot of success. Athletically, you got to have that heart. I mean, you got to see that unwillingness to be tackled on the field. I think that's the number one underrated thing for a lot of guys. You go by a lot of numbers. I've recruited guys that's been 5'7", 6'1". I mean, it's gone all through the numbers. But the guys that's always been successful are the guys that have that and show it on film, that ability to break tackles, make guys miss in space, and really finish those runs, no matter how fast, how slow you are. It's that game speed that really kind of puts it out there.
This year, you guys come into the season, all the American running back Isaiah Fonzie misses early.
Mm-hmm.
You guys lose both quarterbacks who lead the team in rushing at one point to injuries at one point of the year. Your second, third, fourth string running back, everyone's getting hurt. How did you know you were this deep at the running back room, and how do you get guys prepared to be almost next man up mentality?
Well, it starts with the top. I mean, Coach Vegan does a great job setting our program up for the long haul, and I think that's where it really started with us in the COVID area, in the COVID season, really developing our players and you see the different traits. I mean, all the running backs in the room all have different abilities and different strengths, different weaknesses, and they feed off each other. I mean, our room is a very dynamic room as far as personality, and each of them bring a different personality, not only in the office but also on the field. And you see that with Elijah, you see that with Jared, you see that with Marquis, you see that with Lane. All those guys have a different ability, and we really try to make sure as a program we help them with with that, and really play to their strengths and really put them in the best situations.
I talk on the show all the time about if you haven't watched Montana State, you don't really understand how I would say efficiently you guys run the football. What is it about the scheme that makes it so hard to defend? Because you guys can do it with outside zone. You guys can run up the A gaps. You guys can get out in space and make plays. What makes you guys so versatile in how you can attack a defense in terms of the rushing attack?
Well, it starts up front. Our line coach, Coach Armstrong, is a phenomenal coach, a technician. I mean, technique on every single situation, and I think that's where it's a definitely. If you have a great O line, you're gonna make any run is pretty easy. And then Coach Housewright, man. I mean, we're in the lab. You know what I mean? It's fun, and we have weapons. And having recruitable weapons that you can put in space in different situations, I think that's where we are like wanting to get our guys the ball. I mean, and you're not so pigeonholed to be able to say, I have to get this way, I have to run it this way. And having athletes around the whole program, I think that's where we've able to have some success because we're just trying to get some of the best guys in the program the ball. And I think once they have it, they do what they do.
We talked a little bit off camera about this guy, but Marquis was a guy who was originally a wide receiver. He played some running back in high school, and due to injuries, he was kind of thrust into a running back role. What makes him so dynamic? You saw his 4 touchdown game against Cal Poly. Was that? Did you know he had that in him? And how did you guys put him in the best situation? I would say, especially mid-season, switching positions.
Again, I mean recruiting. I mean,
Yeah.
it starts with recruiting and having a group of guys that we bring into the program each year that has different abilities. And I think, Marquis played running back in high school. He kind of played running back at SAC, kind of played receiver, kind of played DB. And then once he got here, he was in the receiver room. So, Coach, you did a really good job teaching him the receiver part of the game. And that's big as far as multiple guys in our program knowing not just what running back position is. Our running backs have to know receiver. They have to know tight end. They have to know fullback. And really teaching them the base part of our program and our identity, and then letting those guys expand. And Marquis, with all the injuries going on in the running back room, was just able to. We saw potential. We saw potential with his ability to have the ball, and he's pretty fast. He's pretty fast. So any chance that we can get that guy the ball, you saw in Oregon State the ability just to run away from defenders and really pull. You see it in practice all the time, him just running on vertical. I'm like, we got to find a way to get him the ball. And, Coach Vegan came down, was like, we can make this change. And, we did. And took him a little time to get acclimated to the position. But, he found a seam, and he's pretty big, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's pretty big, not really. But he found a seam, and he's gone. And I think that's his dynamic ability, be able to put that foot in the ground and go and find those seams.
This, tomorrow now, you guys have a huge game. William and Mary, this is a team that has a Buck Buchanan Award finalist in John Pius, a former freshman All-American, and Nate Lynn, that they have some talent up front. What have you seen in terms of how to attack them, and what do those two guys do so well that you guys have to prepare for this week?
Yeah, that's where it starts really, because they're, a very senior heavily ran program. And I think you see that. You see a lot of guys that played a lot of ball together. You see that. You see the rush in. He's a phenomenal player. His ability to move around in space, do some different things off the edge. He'll attack you, and you see them working as a unit. They know their system. They do it well, and they really know where and have each other's back. And I think that's where going against any opponent, an opponent that understands every part of their system, understands all their checks, understands where they need to be aligned, and that's tough. That makes it tough for us, you know what I mean? And I think for us, in how we want to attack them, is that we have to just try to figure them out. I think it's a new opponent, and that's one of the best things about the playoffs, playing opponents that you have never played before and not know much about. But watching them on film, they're very, very detailed in what they do, and I think they have a great plan for us.
And people who haven't been here, this is my first game here, but I've heard the stories about how hard it is to win in Bobcat Stadium, especially in December in the playoffs. For someone who hasn't been here, what makes this environment so difficult to win, especially in playoff time?
The people, the fans, the community. You'll see this game. No matter what the weather is, you're going to have a packed out stadium. And that's one of the coolest things, seeing it and seeing the growth from back in the day to now. It's just that rock, they start rocking. You see the horses run out. You see the fireworks. You see the game day environment. It's a lot. And I think that's a big part of it, you know what I mean? And then, it's cold everywhere, you know what I mean? It's cold, there's snow, there's everything like that. It's at the end of the day, it's filled. And but the one thing that makes us different is that stadium and those fans.
And, a topic that someone outside of Bozeman might not know about, playing with Heavy Hearts this weekend, Sonny Holland, you guys are dedicating this game to him. For someone who is not from this community, from this program, can you speak a little bit about what he meant to this university, meant to this program, and what you guys are going to go out there and do this weekend to honor him?
Yeah, the coolest thing about that is he's a guy that's been a true Bobcat. When you think about Bobcat football, you think of him. And I think, just passing, when we do our proud, the guys pass him, touch the stadium, touch his statue. And Coach Vegan has done a really great job of really just teaching our guys the respect of who he is. And when we heard that made the announcement and everything like that, and I know Coach was a little bit taken back, but because he's been here, he's been here, he's been present, and then for the guys to really kind of have a great understanding of who he is, I think that's where our guys are really like having a great feel for what that means to represent him in this game. But for Montana, he's been a guy that's just true Bobcat, that's been through and through. When you think of somebody that is Bobcat tough, who is just put the program, who's brought community to this city, and I think he's done a great job with that. So I appreciate them. I do. I
Yeah.
really do.
Absolutely. And last week we saw a lot of trickery come from the offense. You guys are known for running the football, 300 and something yards per game this year. But I saw some reverses, some trick plays.
Yeah.
We saw you guys open up the playbook. Can we expect more of that these next few matchups throughout the playoffs? Did you guys save a little bit in the tank for these next few
I
games?
mean, we always got something to take now. I mean, the cool part about it is I think the ability. I mean, we're lucky that we're getting healthy at the right time. I think that's where we have all of our weapons at our disposal, and we want to be able to get our playmakers the ball. And I think that's what Coach Housewright and Coach Vegan have done a great job of just how come I got this new piece, I got this new piece. How can we use it? And then really just staying true to what we do. I think a lot of it's based off of what we do and tendencies that we have, and we want to just do a great job of just trying to get our playmakers the ball, and then yeah, it might be a little fun, what I mean? So we're going to try to keep that going, and I mean football is fun, and our guys have a good time seeing those plays and having a good time with those. But I mean we execute them at a high level, so I think those guys got to keep going, and if we get a good execution, we'll get a good execution on.
Well, I'll be taking photos for y'all. So give me a little bit of heads up on the sidelines so I can be ready. I just you got to give me a little tip there so I can get the picture for you. That way you guys can have it. But final question, man. I'm expecting to have you on the show again, especially the off season. I love having you on here. What would a national championship mean to you personally and Montana State as a university? The first one since 1984.
Man. I think the number one thing would be I would love to pay the community, the state of Montana. You know what I mean? I know it's Bobcat versus other guys, but I think this state deserves one. I love this state and what it brings and what it brought out to me. I mean, I came here from Southern California, not knowing where Montana really was on the map. I mean, and this community, this state really brought me in as a brother, as a son, and I think I've taken so much from them. I would love to give that back to them in that way, and and put us on a level where I think we're headed to, and a trajectory that the Big Sky, not alone Montana State, should be on that national scene.
You guys are, man. Good luck tomorrow. I cannot wait to experience the environment, see you guys live. I've been talking on the show all year long that you guys are the team that I've wanted to see in person. So I'm excited. I'm hoping to get to see you guys in Frisco again. But, Coach, thank you for joining me, guys. Montana State running back coach Jimmy Beal. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're going to have to get my guy back on after they win the national championship. I've already predicted it on the show. I've told him that. He knows that, so he'll be back on. But guys, stay tuned for more content from Bozeman. Kickoff 9:15 p.m. Central Time, 8:15 Mountain Time tomorrow. Live kickoff on ESPN2, Montana State versus William and Mary. But until then, guys, for Coach Beal, for myself, for the Blue Bloods, we are out for right now.